best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine?
You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Ask the Treksperts. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
Today we're going to talk about bad episodes. Or
Yes.
at least episodes that our Star Trek Club thought was bad. What we're going to do is we're going to go down a list of episodes that our club put together for the worst episodes of Star Trek ever. And keep in mind, of course, that this was voted by the members of our club.
Yes, and it would have been much different had you and I simply picked them.
Just pick them. So take this with a grain of salt. Remember, and don't lynch us, the ones that if something that you really like pops up here, or if you say, how did this episode not come in? It was a combined effort of several people. Who
have very, very extremely different interests in Star Trek.
10, 12 people or so put this together. Not everybody that comes to our club worked on this, but several people did. And so anyway, what we did was this weekend, we actually watched all of these episodes in a marathon, which was hilarious. Yes. And we had a lot of our club came, and we from 12 to 8 we watched all these episodes, and we had food and we had booze, and we played bad episode bingo, and it was fantastic. We had a lot of fun, but it was, I don't know, it got really grueling there at the end, because I definitely agree, at least with the top couple picks. Anyway, so what we thought would be interesting would be to go down this list and tell you what we watched and whether or not Sarah and I agree with where it ended up falling on the list. Again, keep in mind that we didn't pick these exactly. Well, we had input, but we didn't just straight pick them. So some of them we were like, really, that wound up there on the list over these things, you know? So we'll talk a little bit about that and let you know what the list is, so that maybe you can comment on them as well. So that's what we're going to do today. Number 10, the 10th episode on the list was Let He Who Is Without Sin, the only DS9 episode on the list.
And I think it should have been higher on the list.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that episode.
I don't like it either. I think that there are a couple episodes worse than that, but...
See, the one or two episodes in DS9 that you think are worse than that, you have not let me see.
Well, that's true. There's one I don't think you've ever watched, just because I always told you it was so bad, and that's Time's Orphan.
I have not seen Time's Orphan, and I have not seen If Wishes Were Horses.
Oh, that's not one of the worst.
Oh, I thought you...
It's amusing. It's not good, but it's amusing.
We skipped that one when we went through the series. So
I don't remember skipping that.
No,
Did
we skipped
really?
it. I think what happened was we skipped it on accident, and then I asked if we should go back, and you said, no, it sucks.
I never said it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
But anyway, Let He Who Was Without Sin, that's the...
Of all the ones I've seen.
That's the Risa episode. That's where Worf and Dax go to Risa, and Worf's got a stick somewhere, and Dax is a little out of character. And
crazy out of character. And the only thing she wants to do is jibe Worf. It's like, I just want to make him mad. That's all I want to do. Yeah,
and Worf just wants to... The
Worf just wants to be angry, and Dex just wants to make him angry.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he has a little bit of a point. I mean, I kind of like, you know, DS9 does this sometimes. I mean, I like the idea of, you know, the Federation's become a little bit complacent. We're not being careful enough. We got the Dominion about to attack, and we're going off to pleasure planets. I get it. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. But Worf just kind of comes off as, I didn't want to go on this stupid vacation anyway, so I'm going to do anything I can to sabotage it.
So I'm happy I'm going to make it rain.
Yeah, it's goofy. Anyway, so number 9 on the list. So yeah, I don't know. I agree that it's bad. I'm not sure I would have put it on this list, but of the top 10, maybe the top 20. 9 was Way to Eden, which is considered by a lot of people to be one of, if not the worst TOS episodes.
Yeah, and I agree. That it's one of the worst TOS episodes.
I agree too. A lot of our club didn't.
I know, that was
a couple people were like, "Oh, this isn't that bad. It shouldn't be here. Oh, it doesn't work for me, man. Hippies in space. It's I don't know. For me, and again, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I get why some people really love this episode, especially people who are really big into '60s culture and stuff. Yeah. It's cool and everything. I don't like how dated it makes the episode. Hippies in space it doesn't work. It's too goofy to take seriously.
Yeah. And I for one thought there were way too many songs in that episode.
Yeah.
And really bad songs.
And then naming a character Adam, and then doing the Eden thing, and then at the end Kirk has to make and his name was Adam. Yeah. It's like, was it Kirk that says that, or was it somebody? I forget.
No,
it was Spock, which made it worse. Yeah, which is even weirder.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some good Spock moments in it, but other than that,
and didn't you love how all the hippies were tripping on acid at the end on that planet?
Yeah. Anyway, so I agree with that placement personally.
Yeah.
Number 8 was in the children's show lead. And now, during the marathon, I accidentally skipped it, so we actually didn't end up watching it in the marathon. We just went on, and then I missed it, and so we never went back. But I mean, we've both seen it. I think it fits here, and I think it is worse than Way to Eden.
I disagree.
All right.
I think I could see it on the top 10, possibly, depending on.
But not above Way to Eden.
No,
you still think it's worse. All right, fair enough.
I think you dislike it mostly because they're children actors.
No, that's not. It's as goofy, if not goofier, to me. I don't know. The whole friendly angel. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, the last.
But it's been a while since I've seen it, so again, take it with a grain of salt. We didn't watch it yesterday.
I saw it like 2 months ago.
Okay, it's been more like a couple years for me.
I liked it better than the first time I saw it. And I'm not saying it's a good episode by any means, but it's watchable in a way that Way to Eden is not for me.
All right, fair enough. I can't speak to it too much. It's been a while. Again, we're not reviewing these episodes. We're just sort of telling you what they are and talking about it for a second. Number 7 was The Naked Now from Next Generation.
Which totally deserved to be on.
Absolutely it did. I hate Naked Now.
Oh, my goodness. It's horrible.
Yeah, it does 2 of the worst things you could possibly do right at the gate in the series. It's only like the second episode of the series, so you're talking. I mean, it's amazing TNG made it on the air after doing something like Naked Now.
Yeah.
And actually, I gotta say this real quick. It's sort of amusing that after we've talked so much about season 1 on the show, there's so much season 1 on this list.
Yeah. Well, we said it was a rough beginning for TNG, and the second episode in, I mean, you get a bunch of characters acting not themselves. Yeah,
which is right out the gate. Stupid. The thing is, all we've had is a pilot to sort of roughly tell us who the characters are, and immediately you do an acting out of character episode. Yeah. I complain about that on Crypto Freaks all the time about Smallville. It's even worse when it's the second episode of the series. We don't even really know these people yet. The actors aren't sure who they're playing yet, and they're already doing a We're Not Ourselves episode. Add to that the fact that it's just TOS rehash, and you've got quite the bomb.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Absolutely.
Number 6 is, These Are the Voyages, Enterprise, the last episode.
Which also deserves to be on there.
Absolutely. And I agree with the placement, too.
I specifically went and got snacks and talked through this episode.
Oh, I know. And I stood in a corner and talked to somebody for a bit of this, too. I can't deal with it. Yeah. It's a terrible ending for it's a terrible ending for the series. It's a terrible ending for Prime Canon Star Trek, which it's sad that it had to be the last episode of Prime Canon Star Trek. Yeah. Nobody knew that at the time.
The plot is so who cares? I mean, I love
it's
Shran,
who cares. It's ultra
contrived. So contrived to get him into the last episode. You know, if we maybe spent some more time with him and his daughter or something, and it was less contrived than, oh no, his daughter got kidnapped, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I still say it's a video game plot.
And then
it's a bad
Archer
video
spent
game
the entire episode writing a speech we never get to hear.
Yeah, worse than that, yeah, and that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Worse than that is that it's more about Riker than it is about the characters that are in the series that we're watching in, and it's during and it takes place during Pegasus, which is one of my favorite episodes. Mm-hmm. And so it makes Enterprise more canon, which is irritating, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
But also it takes Riker and Troy, puts them back in an episode from TNG years later when both of them look a lot older, and Frakes has put on some weight.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Frakes looks terrible. I'm saying Frakes doesn't look like he used to look.
He doesn't look 30. I mean, he looks.
Yeah, now he's 40 or 45. Yeah, or however old he is.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but worse than that for me is they kill off Trip. And they kill him off.
I didn't care that they killed him off. I killed him off that they killed him off in the stupidest way ever.
Yeah, like if this were a normal Enterprise episode, they totally would have gotten out of that. I think there are a couple instances where they had similar situations. Cause
it would have been easy.
How many times have the Enterprise characters been taken hostage by aliens, on the ship?
Yeah. And
they always made it out with nobody dying before. Mm-hmm. And so now Trip's like, Archer, I'm not listening to you. Aliens knock him out so I can run off and get myself killed. I mean, that's how he died.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's...
And, I mean, it's like we have all these elements we want to put together, but we're not even going to attempt to make it all work together, to like, you know, come up with plausible ways for it to all happen. You know, we got to have the charter, we got to have Trip's death, like, we got to have Shran, and it's all, none of it jives. The episode is too short. You needed 2 hours for this finale to really work because you had too many elements.
Yeah, no, it's like somebody wrote a checklist of, you know, what needs to be in the Enterprise finale.
That's it.
And then they wrote a script in 5 minutes and said, okay, shoot that.
And to add insult to injury, it's Berman and Braga after Manny Cotto has been doing some interesting stuff in 4, and then it ends with, well, Berman and Braga invented the show, they started it, so they get to finish it.
So they get a chance to ruin it
okay,
right
fine, if it was good. I mean, I'm not saying that Berman and Braga have done nothing but terrible work. I make fun of them a lot. I mean, both of them have written decent episodes.
Yeah, not in Enterprise.
But not much in Enterprise, you're absolutely right. Anyway, sorry, we could go on about These Are the Voyages forever. Number 5 is Code of Honor. I agree again.
And see, that, for me, that's not worse than Naked Now.
Oh, I think it's absolutely worse
I
than
think
Naked
it
Now.
could be, I think it still deserves to be on the list, but for me, if given the choice between watching those two, I'd rather watch Code of Honor.
I don't remember if we talked about Code of Honor when we did our Season 1 review, so we won't talk too much about this, but it's the, in case you don't know what it is, it's the one where Yar gets kidnapped by some people who are like, it's this honorable thing we do, we kidnap somebody, and then you have to come and get her back, and then the guy's like, well, actually, he's like this king, and he's like, well, forget this, actually, now I want her to be my wife, yada yada yada. But it's the absolute most racist and sexist episode of Star Trek ever.
Which makes it so funny.
See, I don't think it's funny. I think it's just obnoxious.
No, it's funny. I mean, it's so bad you have to laugh.
Fight to the death that includes pole dancing. Enough said. Anyway, okay, number 4.
Yeah, funny.
Is Last Outpost,
which is
first episode of the Ferengi.
Horrible.
I actually agree with all the TNGs on this. That's the last one. I agree with all the TNGs, and I agree with the order that they're in. Let me also mention, you know what I'm going to say, that the order that they're in is actually the order that they appear in the series. So we actually watched them in the list in chronological order, and they're
consecutively worse. It's like Naked Now was the second episode of the series, and then
you had Code of Honor, and then you had Last Outpost,
all in a row.
We watched them that way. They're actually and they actually consecutively get worse. At least to me, you don't think Code of Honor is worse, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it is funny.
Last Outpost was the first episode with the Ferengi. They immediately retconned most of what they did in that episode. The next time they brought in the Ferengi, thankfully,
or nobody would have been fans of them.
It's the lightning whips. It's the Goofy jumping around in the background for no good reason. And they just keep anyway. It's the silliest thing ever. And what made it so silly was that you had all this like really intense background music. Like these were going to be the Klingons of this show. You know, like the Klingons were from TLS.
I think what we should do is next time we make a Treksperts, you'll do the Treksperts, and I'll just jump in the background being early for it.
That's it. And then you just occasionally jump in front of me and say something.
We'll see how much fun it makes.
Yeah.
How much sense it makes.
How much sense it makes?
Yes.
No, it'll make all kinds of fun. Well, we'll make fun. Number 3 is Blood Fever from Voyager, the only Voyager episode, which I think is a crime.
Yeah, it's not even the worst Voyager episode.
No, it's not. It's not good. It definitely deserved to be in the top 20.
Maybe the top 50. I mean,
but it's not the worst.
Yeah.
I can immediately throw out a couple. Elogium.
Because, I mean, Voyager had really good episodes. It had some stellar episodes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it also
Most
had
of them
some
later. Well,
episodes.
middle.
I mean, it ran the gamut.
Yes.
It had some really boring in the middle episodes, too.
Worse than this, I say, is Elogium. I say Warlord.
Yeah. How about Fury?
Fury.
How about name a Kes episode?
Name most Kes episodes, yeah.
Name a Neelix episode. But, like...
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to get more Neelix flack.
No, yeah.
No, but we haven't yet done an episode on why we don't like Neelix, have we? I think we talked about it a little bit on the Q&A, but...
Maybe we should do it.
Maybe we should eventually. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, so talk about Elogium what?
Talk about Elogium.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about Elogium. No, I'm sorry. Talk about Blood Fever a little bit.
Okay, so Blood Fever.
I'll talk about Elogium.
So Blonatoris has Ponfar.
Yes.
But...
Which by itself makes it worth being on some sort of bad list. Anyway.
Yes. But during the episode, I came up with a theory on how that actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it. We think there's enough in the script to actually make it more than the theory and actually be what they were going for, but they didn't actually explain properly. And so we're going to do a Ponfar episode of Treksperts where we discuss all the episodes relating to Ponfar and stuff and how it evolved and changed over the course of Trek.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do in 2 weeks. So next time. So just, there's a footnote. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Yes.
But we actually think it works. It's still a really stupid episode.
It's a stupid episode, but knowing that makes it better, at least for me.
I don't think it makes it a
It makes
better
it make
story.
sense, because what I always hated it for was just, you take...
Screwing with Vulcans.
Screwing with Vulcans.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that. They're good species. And you have Amok Time, which is awesome and explains a bunch of the Vulcan culture, and especially Ponfar. And then you have Blood Fever, which I thought, what? It's now a transmittable disease.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But it isn't. And
we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so yeah, that's Blood Fever. Let me say the biggest thing that I had a problem with Blood Fever was that okay, so if you know Vulcans, you know that with the Ponfar they got to mate every 7 years. Males do, or they die. Except for Enterprise, whatever. But males have to mate every 7 years, or they die.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with this, it gets transmitted to B'Elanna. We'll talk about why later, and then she wants to mate with Tom. And all Tom would have to do is just freaking do it, and then we wouldn't have a problem anymore. It would go away and game over. But through most of the episode, he's all, I don't want to take advantage of you, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's not taking advantage. You're saving a human being. This is ridiculous. Yeah. So and then by the end, he finally just gives in and does it. I mean, like, it's the most stretchy episode for no good reason, and makes Tom Paris look like a total jerk.
Yeah.
Because he's just. He's not willing to do the thing that would save a person's life, and it's ridiculous. So anyway, number 2 was Impulse.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if there, like the idea that there could be episodes worse than These Are the Voyages, but there are.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, there are.
Yeah.
Impulse
zombies.
is Vulcan zombies.
Yeah. As if we needed more illogical than Vulcans in Enterprise.
Yeah. It could have worked. I'm actually going to say that.
Really?
Could have worked, yeah, because it's set up early. It's set up at the early. I mean, this is only 5-6 episodes into the season, but early on, we see this log of Vulcans tearing themselves apart in the Expanse, and we find out, oh God, there's something crazy that does bad things to Vulcans. They set it up early, like it was going to be a big deal, you know what I mean? Like, this should have been one of the cooler episodes of Season 3, if you really think about it. Yeah. What they didn't said was they made a pointless, senseless, horror film in the middle of Enterprise that doesn't even kind of feel like Star Trek. It's completely contrived how it happens. Yeah. And to add insult to injury, and
nothing happens?
Well, yes, but I'm also going to throw out what Cook said, or one of our club members. She said the thing that drove her crazy the whole episode was, why is there dirt all over the starship? How does all this dirt get here? We're in space.
Since the ship will clean itself, right? No, I'm kidding.
No, that's later.
Earlier, depending.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's just like strobe lights everywhere.
Yeah, strobe lights, shaky cam.
Yeah, worse than no story and no script is also. Yeah. I mean, I'm nauseated, having a headache, and wishing I had eaten a little bit more before I watched it. I mean, like, oof, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, Impulse. I think I don't know. If we ever review that episode in an entire Treksperts, it'll just be us sitting in front of the camera going,
And we should hook up your strobe light.
Yeah, we should review it like that.
Yes.
This episode is haunting us. Okay, so Club said that was the second worst episode of Star Trek.
Yes.
I agree. Yes. I think it's second or first. I mean, it's totally there. Number 1 was Bound.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, absolutely. And it's the worst episode of Star Trek. I don't know. I'm not sure. On different days, I could take these 2 episodes and swap them.
Yeah.
But they're the worst episodes of Star Trek.
I was dealing with Jason through most of this episode, and I'm glad I was, because I have seen it once, and on purpose, only once. There is no reason I want to see that again. It's just that bad.
Wow, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, well, anyway, it's Orion Slave Girls, and again, doing a whole episode about Orion Slave Girls in and of itself, not a bad idea.
Yeah, good idea and concept, but in execution.
Yeah, but it's another. You'll notice that some of the worst episodes, some of what we're calling the worst episodes, are the people are not themselves episodes.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with it is that I just forgot what I was. I forgot the problem with that episode.
Really? It's that bad? You've lost your mind.
Yes, I have.
All right. Anyway, so I mean, the Orion slave girls, they come onto the ship, and apparently Archer has somehow rather acquired them.
Yeah.
And
as a gift, I think.
Okay, that's what it was. Again, I wasn't paying a lot of attention this time either. I really hate this episode. So yeah, he acquires them, and then they've got their crazy Orion slave girl pheromones, which we never realized they had, but apparently they do, according to this. And they make all the men go crazy and do terrible things to each other and fight over them. And kind of, except you've got a massive, obnoxious triangle in many ways.
Yeah, you don't want that. I mean, I think in concept it's cool. I think the problem that all this stuff is cool in concept, and I like the fact that they're called slave girls everywhere. But then here you find out that they're actually kind of manipulative and they're kind of in control over everything.
And that's kind of a neat idea. I like it. And then the execution is so abysmal it's not even worth the reveal.
Yeah.
At the end they reveal that and like any other time I'd be going, oh, that's kind of clever. And there I'm just like, I've already lost it and I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's hard. Honestly, it's difficult to describe why it's awful without just sitting down and watching it. It is one of the worst paced episodes of anything I've ever seen. Nothing really happens except just people fighting and bickering for a whole episode, and a lot of really weird cinematography. That what's weird is that I found that the way they shot it made them the most unattractive Orion slave girls I've ever seen. Like that was part of the weird thing of it too, was that like it was trying to be an overly sexual episode and it wasn't even succeeding at that. Like it wasn't even, they didn't even look good. Like there were some weird camera angles in this episode. I thought it was bizarre how they were shooting stuff. They did this thing at the beginning where they were trying to make it look like it was from Archer's perspective, and so we had this angle where where it was shot like from the navel, and it was just weird. I've never seen a shot. I don't mean like all we saw was the belly button, but I mean it was just this weird shot where like it felt like a music video. It was like a fisheye lens almost.
Yeah.
It's weird. I was ready for them to just start rapping, I was ready for the Orion slave girls to get up and just start doing this in the camera. Wow. Anyway, it's like Orion slave girls in 3D. It's abominable.
Yeah. So I'm glad I missed most of that.
And again, also a really sexist episode. Yeah. I say against both sexes, really, in a lot of ways. Surprise. It's almost impressive that you could pull that off, actually, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what our Star Trek Club called the 10 worst episodes ever made. So tell us what you think about some of those picks and what you would have put instead. And feel free, even if you want to list your own top 10 if you're a big Trekkie and you have opinions.
And if you have a Saturday free and you want to kill yourself sometime, just put into your 10 worst Star Trek episodes and you call some friends if you want to have fun.
The trick is to make sure you have lots of food.
Yeah, lots of food.
Some alcohol and
some people to Mystery Science Theater it with.
Yeah, and subtitles. You gotta have subtitles.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks a lot for watching Ask the Treksperts. Next time, Pon farr we'll be talking about.
Yes.
It'll be really fun. We're gonna make sure and watch all the Pon farr episodes beforehand, and so we'll talk about each of them as we go along. So yeah.
Lots of fun.
Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
See you next time.